Hi, Keith.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Keith the Ribbon One. Hey, how you doing? My name is Keith the Ribbon One, and I'm the president of the Council of Elders here at St. Mary's Center, and I'm the lead photographer for the San Pablo Avenue Community newspaper. And we're here today to recognize Carol White and District 3, and for some of us to finally get our chance to have a seat at the table, to ask her some of the things we may have wanted to ask, among ourselves. So this is our opportunity, so definitely take advantage of it. And believe this, she's definitely ready for it. So with that, St. Mary's Center is a nonprofit here, and we deal with only 55 and up seniors to where, having a hard time in their life. We help them get their lives back in order. And we're open to everyone, no matter who you are, what you believe, or where you come from. We are a nonprofit, we are an equal opportunity organization here. And one thing about it, we love everybody. We love you. And thank you all for coming. And we get this going, correct?
Multitasking, taking pictures, and doing everything. So, again, welcome everyone. We have a kind of a small announcement presentation that we're going to start with from the Public Ethics Commission. But let me give you a little breakdown of what else is going to come. So, we like to hear from community. So, we will start this town hall just hearing from you, giving you an opportunity to have a couple minutes to say what you need to say to Councilmember Fife or ask her a question. And then after that, Councilmember Fife will respond, share some of her policy ideas, and just kind of have a little bit of a discussion. We'll do some back and forth question and answer, and then we'll let you guys go home. Okay? All right, so we're going to start with our representative from the Public Ethics Commission. Yay!
Great, thank you so much. Thank you to all of you for taking time out of your Saturday to be here. And thank you to Councilmember Fife and his staff for allowing us this time. And I'm here for a couple of reasons. One is just to update you all on what the city is doing to ensure ethical government. And secondly, I want to let you know about opportunities that you have as engaged members of the community to really help us ensure that Oakland has ethical government. So, first of all, how many of you have heard of the Oakland Public Ethics Commission? Okay, so we've got a couple, great. So, I think there's a lot of concern in the community about Oakland having an ethical government. And the Oakland Public Ethics Commission is a group of citizens and staff that works to try to make sure that government is as ethical, honest, and open as possible. So we are a 7-member volunteer board, of which I am the chair. We serve 3-year terms, and we oversee policy and priorities for the commission. And then we have an 8-member staff that works very hard on the subject areas that we work on. So these are things like enforcing the Government Ethics Act, which guards against things like undue influence, bribery, and transparent and non-transparency. So we're working very hard at that, and the goal is just to ensure that the government works in the public interest, that the people who serve in government are looking out for you and not looking out for themselves. So, as you can imagine, an 8-member staff isn't a lot to enforce and oversee the laws for a city of our size. And that's where you can come in and help us, and I'll get to that in a minute. But I do want to mention a couple of things that we're very excited about. One is that last year, you, the voters, passed Measure W, which is the Fair Elections Act. And the main provision of that act is a program called Democracy Dollars. And Democracy Dollars is a program to give $100 in vouchers to every Oakland voter that they can use to contribute to city political campaigns. And the rationale is that what we found is that people who give to campaigns tend to get more attention from public officials, and they tend to have their, believe it or not, and then they tend to have more access to city government. So the goal of this program is to level the playing field, make it so every Oakland resident can be a donor and can get access in the way that those folks have been getting. And that program launches in 2026. So we're excited about doing that. We're working on the rules for that now and just laying out the program so that it's successful when it launches. And there are opportunities for you as members of the public to provide input as to how we do that. So, I'm just rolling through this because we had a PowerPoint that didn't work out. So, which I promise you says nothing about the competency level of our commission. So some of the other things that we want to know from the public. We want to know if, for example, you're facing challenges getting public records. That's one of the main things that people interact with government for. If you are searching for records using our public records request portal, if you're having trouble using that, we want to know from you. We post campaign finance, lobbying, and other data online. We want to know if you're able to access that or any other barriers that you're facing. As I mentioned, we're working to set up the Democracy Dollars program. We'd love your input in that process. And we rely on residents to flag things when they observe officials or candidates doing things that may be illegal so that we can investigate that. Because that is a big part of our job, is enforcing and prosecuting the government ethics laws. So should you have any input, we ask you that you please contact us. You can find us on the app formerly known as Twitter, at Oakland Ethics. You can also talk to me afterwards. I can provide you with contact information. You can email us at ethicscommission@oaklandca.gov. And we really welcome your feedback and your input. And for those of you who really want to get involved, we have an open commissioner seat starting at the beginning of this year, or so the beginning of next year. And we are recruiting folks to go ahead and apply for that commissioner vacancy. The deadline is October 27th. If you are interested in applying, we are looking for Oakland residents who are passionate about government ethics and being a government watchdog. You can talk to me. You can use the contact info that I just gave you. We are looking for as wide and diverse a group of applicants as possible. So whatever your background, if you are passionate about this, we are interested in you applying and talking to you. So please let me know. Please contact us if you have any questions or if you may be interested in applying or have any other questions. And
what was the email?
So the email is ethicscommission@oaklandca.gov. You can also tweet at us at Oakland Ethics.
Thank you.
Yeah. You can also find us on Facebook. Just search for Oakland Public Ethics Commission. You can call us 510-238-3593. Or you can just Google Oakland Public Ethics Commission, and that'll bring up our website with opportunities to contact us there. And I'll open it up right now. Are there any questions or comments? So we meet once a month. So that is the minimum requirement for serving on a commission. And in addition to that, we usually have a bit of additional work that we do. So we encourage folks who are on the commission to do that, but the minimum is one meeting a month, and it usually takes about 2 hours. Yep.
Is that in person or Zoom?
It's in person. Yes.
Is there food?
Yes, there is, if you bring food. So, Thank you for volunteering. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I remember the democracy dollars on the last election. I thought it was a good idea, but I wondered, how much total is that gonna cost when it's implemented, and where's that gonna come from in the Oakland budget?
Yeah, so it comes out of the general fund. And it's really, it costs in the range of, well, it depends on how many people take advantage of it. It's budgeted for like a couple $1 million. That's assuming that it has robust participation, which we hope it does. But it just varies depending on how many people actually take advantage of it. And so you're gonna be receiving in the mail, physical vouchers. There's also going to be an electronic option, but look in your mail. This isn't coming until, like I said, 2026, so it's not for the upcoming election. But, you know, if you make a note in your calendar now, 2026, look in the mail, you'll be receiving physical vouchers. You'll receive 4 of them, each for $25. And you can use those. There will be instructions in there for how to use them to donate to the Oakland City political campaign of your choice.
Just very quickly.
That's 2.
Are you working with Seattle, which does this?
Yes, we have been working.
Very well.
Yes, thank you. Yes, Seattle. So we're the second city in the world to be implementing this program. So this is an opportunity for Oakland to be a leader on government ethics and expanding democracy. So we're excited about that. Seattle implemented this program in 2017, and they have a lot of input to give from their experience. So we've been working closely with them to learn the lessons that they've learned and use the best practices that they have developed. Okay, great. Thank you so much. And like I said, any additional questions, you can contact us or ask me. Thank you.
Yay, that's awesome. So right now, we're going to give you all an opportunity to come and talk to us. What we're gonna do is we're gonna allow you 2 minutes to say whatever you want to say about anything, but we want to keep it respectful. Oh, did the San Pablo newspaper have something more that they would like to present to share with the audience? Okay, we're gonna allow him to say a few words and then we're gonna go into the audience participation part.
Before I go any further, I want us to give a special hand to our executive director, Sharon Curry, for allowing us to have this important meeting. Okay, the San Pablo Avenue newspaper is an area newspaper among the San Pablo area. And we're kind of like highlighting all nonprofits, all businesses that don't get that, that highlight. We put them in the paper and anything that's going on, and we think you guys should know. But I'm going to take it from here and give it to one of our team members to take it from here. Give you guys the information.
Hello everyone, my name is Tyra Rhodes. I'm with the San Pablo Ave Community Newspaper. I am the resourcer of the newspaper. I had a pleasure with interviewing Carol Fight over the week. So that was a pleasant. I resource for food banks, housing, crisis line, up to that point of where you can get these services. And please look for that in addition through when it be done at the end of the month. Thank you.
All right, you guys have your own little newspaper in this neighborhood. You know how lucky you are. We can have focused news on what's happening in the neighborhood and find out the gossip and all the tea. So, okay. So again, for those of you who are new, my name is Tanya Love. I'm Councilmember 5's Chief of Staff. And we really like to have the opportunity to hear from you so that way we can respond and see how we can support. But first, I just kind of want to get a lay of the land of who's in the room right here. So how many of you are from District 3? Yay, that's a lot. Okay. How many of you live in this specific neighborhood here? Okay. How many of you kind of live in the Adams Point, Lake Lear type area? Oh, okay. How many of you live kind of like near Kaiser and the hospital, what we call Pill Hill? How many of you live near Infirmary and Ramondi. Okay, how many of you live in the Prescott area? Okay, well, all right, well, thank you all for coming and taking the time to spend your morning with us. And we're gonna allow you an opportunity to talk to Councilmember Fife. So we're gonna kind of do this in a little bit of an orderly fashion. We're gonna have you lined up and you're gonna talk with our volunteer here. She's gonna hand you the mic and she's gonna time you. So be nice to her. She's a volunteer. She's doing this unpaid. And so be nice to her. And when she says you hear the alarm go off that your 2 minutes is up, just kind of be respectful of that and kind of close your comments a little bit, okay? So for those of you who want to talk with Councilmember Fife, let's go ahead and start lining up here. Don't be shy. And we're gonna stand here and take notes, and then after a certain amount of time, we'll respond to your questions, okay? And then also, we're gonna have the hand sanitizer on this table. I want you guys to use the hand sanitizer because COVID is COVIDing and we don't wanna share it, right? So, use this. And then if you have a mask, you probably use the mask. Don't be breathing all on the mic. There, yeah.
We're very well aware of it.
Oh, it's in your name.
Good morning, I'm Karen Oyakami. I'm a 64-year resident of Oakland. I live in West Oakland near across from Kids Academy. And I am also a doll artist, and I have a nonprofit organization, American Graffiti Doll Association. I also am friends of the African American Museum and Library Library Group. And one of the things I wanted to ask about is the City Center Garage West parking lot that's right across from Preservation Park. And got a notice that the City of Oakland is over that garage, and I was wondering what the status of being able to get parking there on Saturdays for free for events at the African American Museum and Library, since it is a city building. And I remember the parking garage on Clay Street that is now closed used to have free Saturday parking. And also the parking is very scarce. People are fearful of leaving their cars and trying to find, a place to park, and the cars getting broken into. We have a lot of seniors that would like to come out to events, and that's a hardship. And that bike rack right on Jefferson is taking away the handicap parking. So I just need to know how to move forward on that, to see about getting access to that garage on the weekends for cultural events. We have several coming up this year, the end of this year, and then Martin Luther King next year, and Black History Month in February. So we really need to have access for people to attend safely. So I'd like to look into that. And then the other thing I wanted to say was, when you're a watch captain for your neighborhood, and I'm the watch captain for 16th Street. Oh, sorry. So I just need to know how to get more support from my District 3 and the city. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Alicia Kidd. I'm a business owner. I'm born and raised in Oakland. I live in the Maxwell Park District, but my business is Coconut Bar Wine Shop on 13th and Webster. I'm here representing Black businesses that I feel get overlooked. And what I want to know is, and I'm very involved in the news, what are you guys are going to do to help Black-owned businesses when it comes to crime, when it comes to safety? Like, what are your initiatives targeting Black-owned businesses? in that area. My second question is, in the downtown area, there are a lot of new high-rises and there are vacancies in these high-rises. What are you guys gonna do to fill those vacancies with affordable, below market rate for brick and mortar? Because I feel like what's happening is all these new developers are coming in, but I don't see any traction. It's like, it's more beneficial for these developers to have them vacant, like they do at Jacqueline Square, versus filling them with people. So I know the Black Cultural Zone just did their thing, but I wanna know, like, all these vacant new high-rises, what are we gonna do to bring, there's business owners that might wanna just have a location, so we're not in a desert. So number one is safety. For me, I just have a new business and it's been horrible with traffic. I spent a lot of money on marketing and I just feel like Black-owned businesses, our community, our Asian friends and family, they get a lot of support. We support, but on our side, for Black-owned businesses, what is going to be done? Because if nothing doesn't happen, I might just have to move to Atlanta. And I've been courted big time to open businesses out there. And I'm born and raised in Oakland, and I want to stay in Oakland and have my business be successful in Oakland. I want to have a location at the airport. So there is no resources to really help Black-owned businesses thrive, even though we have a lot of programs. So I just want to know about the vacancies downtown, which I think if you could fill those with below market, because I did with me, then that would be it.
Hi, I live about 1 block from here. I've been here since 2013. Oh, Michael Zawinski. Hey, good to see you again. Thanks for the paint, by the way. Anyway, so in 2015, we had about 9 shooting, either fatalities or people get wounded within a 3-block radius of my house at 32nd Street in Linden, 1 block from here. And I thought that was pretty odd. And just looking at the number of fatalities that year, it was about 1 in 16 of the shooting fatalities in the entire city of Oakland happened in that 3-block radius of my house. So since then, I've compiled this spreadsheet, keeping track of all the people who have been shot or wounded within this 3-block radius. And I was just sitting here in line, and I'm counting it, but it's about 47 people have been shot fatally or just wounded. And that's not, there's a whole additional number of people who have been run over, who have died from drug overdoses on all the corners around here. And it's not my neighbors. Like, I know all my neighbors on my street. We're not dying in these ways. So people are coming here to die. Why are people coming here to die? What can be, I don't know if there's anything that can be done to deter people from coming here to die. But people are coming here to this spot to die every year. So everyone should know that. And it should be acknowledged. And another thing that's really tragic is that next door to this building, there's a housing group. Across the street, there's a housing group. Many of the people that live in these homes are non-native English speakers. They're elderly. They can't report the crime to the police, so the police cannot generate the statistics needed to create a police response. So their voices are not being heard. And I think that is something that everyone should be aware of, that we have a group of vulnerable people, elderly people, at the end of their lives who their voices are not able to be heard, and they're surrounded by death.
Testing, okay. First, I want to say thank you, Carol, for hosting this. It really feels nice to have an opportunity to get people together and talk about what this district needs. So my name is Anne Marie Bustamante, and I'm co-founder of Artists Building Communities. We built 15 up-to-code emergency tiny houses during the pandemic in existing camps in Oakland. I've been an advocate, an ally, and a partner with a lot of the people behind me at the Wood Street Commons, and they were evicted from the largest encampment probably in California recently, and they were evicted under the pretense that if the city doesn't evict them, they're going to get in a lot of trouble. So a lot of the responsibility has kind of been passed to the county, passed to the last mayor, passed all around. And the conditions in which the transitional housing that they are in now are not adequate. They're not healthy, and it's not empathetically minded. So the people don't have services. There's no mental health. There's no recovery. There's no workforce development. In these, there's a safe RV site, and there's also kind of similar to the cabins. It's run by Boss. And I've just been very close, and I'm a friend to these people, and I'm not liking the quality of service that people are being offered. If we're gonna sweep encampments, and there's sometimes reasons to do that, I get it, you have to have quality, transparency, and actually community instead of just making it like them going to prison. So I'm wondering what the plans are to improve the quality of my friends' experiences in the Boss transitional housing. And also on Wood Street, a lot of the spaces where people were cleared off, there's signs that say 100% affordable housing is going to be right here. I want to know, and I would love to have a guarantee that it's deeply affordable housing and not just market rate. Thank you so very much.
Hello, my name is John Zanusco, and I currently live in cabin communities off of Wood Street. And Anne Marie summed it up really well. They're not offering any services that are helping anyone there. Actually, they're not offering any services, and that's one of the big problems there. Is that they took us from one location and put everybody into another location, and basically just on the other side of the fence with no hope of anything changing. And that's one of the questions. Is it possible that I guess the city can find a way to engage more with the unhoused community there so that we can come up with better solutions such as for that program? It's called a program. Usually things are called that because it's helping you to get better footing, get job skills, maybe deal with addictions and stuff. And none of that's being addressed at that lot there. And the majority of the people are being treated unfairly, and it's there's a fence in between, if people don't know, between both sides. So there's a north side and there's a south side. And already just walking in, it sets up this atmosphere of separation and dividing people. And that's what we don't need. We don't need to divide our people. We need our people to come together. We really need the city, the community to start really working with the unhoused community and letting us be a part of our own future. Most stuff that still happens is basically told to us what we're going to do or how it's going to be, but we're still not being involved in the process of becoming healthier or having a better quality of life. Also, this might seem small to a lot of people, but we are wondering if there's a way that we could stop calling those sweeps. Because when you think of sweep, you think of sweeping trash or cleaning up and stuff. And that sets a mindset for people. So they feel like the people with the powers to be think that we're trash. We think that we're trash. Thank you.
Thank you, John and Anne Marie. My name is Freeway. I'm also a resident of the cabins and a forever resident of Wood Street. I'm just going to say these as quickly as I can because there's a lot of points that need to be covered. First of all, just to point out, just to echo on something that somebody's already said, I assure you, the drug addicts and the mentally ill people that you're talking about that are coming here to die are not coming here to die. They are also vulnerable and unheard, and instead of spreading fear through false narratives, perhaps spreading compassion and looking into real solutions like Canada, UK, and even New York have implemented would be a more productive approach. That being said, on the subject of the cabins have been in operation since April 2023. In that time, literally no one has been housed. We were initially told we would be housed within 90 days. The cabins have been a source of constant turmoil and stress. Residents' needs are routinely overlooked and unmet. Basic needs like drinking water, toilet paper are often unavailable. Residents with special dietary needs are not provided with ADA protected, specifically modified meals. Staff members are routinely unprofessional, aggressive, or even violent towards participants. Currently, I am at risk of being evicted because I defended myself against a male staff member who broke into my cabin and filmed me through my window. Instead of taking proper measures to, through their own protocol for exiting me, the management has done nothing to reconcile the situation or to get into the solution. I have nowhere to go, and this further displacement would make me even more vulnerable. And as they are specifically making a distinction between my husband and I, he's not being evicted. These are just a few of the issues. There's so many more that I don't even have time for, but these are what your tax dollars are going to. So.
Hello, my name is Tracy, and I like to represent single parents who are homeless and women of color. I have a transitional house, and we provide housing to single parents. And thanks to you, Carol White, thank you so much. Because of you, we're now able to offer programs such as mental health and job force, and a lot of resources to women that are in our housing. So I want to thank you for that. So my question or my problem is, all around, we're on 32nd and 32nd and Martin Luther King. And in our housing, all around our neighborhood is being gentrified. Just finding out that for a 2-bedroom apartment is $3,800. And my fear is the community coming up against us and trying to oust us out. We've already gotten some backlash from some neighbors. And I'd like to know more about trying to acquire more housing or more something to help more people, because we are small and I am looking to grow, because I think our program that we have, it's working. So I'd really like more information on getting capital funds. There's a house 2 doors away that has 10 bedrooms. I would love to get that house. It's for sale. There's a house on the block. There's 2 houses on our block that's for sale. So what I want to know is, how can we keep residents who are from Oakland here? How can we provide more affordable housing to women with children and to the community? And how can I grow as an organization? So that's my question. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Betty Deshay. I'm a resident of 37th and Linden Street. Just a short history of Linden Street has many parts to it. It starts up past the middle of 40th and goes all the way down into West Oakland. I'm right in the middle of West MacArthur and Linden Street. It's a very, very, very short street, a very unique place. I've been there all my 30-something years of my life. My home is there. But in my area now, all these high-rising, affordable housing and low-income apartments are coming into my neighborhood, which I don't mind. But I wish the city and Emeryville work together, because my house half is on Emeryville, half of mine is on Oakland, but I pay my taxes to Oakland. And it's very important that we stick together with Oakland, because Emeryville is, like the mayor said, it's a small place, but they do big things. And that's true, because they took a building right on San Pablo that's in progress. It's right there. They have built all kinds of buildings on San Pablo and 37th and 35th. It's all near Packing. That's all Emeryville. And because the borderline is so close and it cuts off so many times. And even when we call for emergency service, we flip to Oakland until they find that we're in Oakland. But with all that said and done, you know, you have to be careful. You do have homeowners that's still in that area and would like to continue. I'm one of them. You know, we have parked cars, and, you know, all the stuff people's been talking, we don't want to go through that. We have freeway stuff that needs to help, need assistance, really bad. You know, we put up with it. I called and report 311. We only can do so much. We have a little neighborhood watch. The area has changed over the years. We need people to look into it.
Good morning, my name is Thomasine, and I live at Monarch. My concern is the street sweeping. We have so much traffic and trash and traffic with idle cars that don't run. There's no ticket, the citation being put on car on where there's no parking on Thursdays. The street sweeper man, he just drives by. There's no one that's monitoring these cars are just cleaning up the streets, that's all. Because I get tired of driving over glass. You got people's clothes, and it smells bad. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Anna. I live at the tiny home, or the cabins at Wood Street. I just want to say thank you for taking the time to listen as well. I just wanted to touch more on just the conditions and some of the things that are going on there. I feel like there's a huge divide between the housed and unhoused, and I feel like we should maybe try to come up with some opportunities to maybe fill that gap, because I feel like everyone is trying to just work with what they have, and there isn't really much to work with at this point. And I just kind of also want to remind everyone a smile or a hello goes a long way, you know, the stranger can be turned into an acquaintance and then a friend or ally, you know, if there's just more compassion and understanding, things would run a little more smoothly. And also just for the, specifically for the cabins, I feel like the staff there are not properly trained to deal with the type of environment and people that are usually, not saying it's any type of thing, but a lot of people are dealing with mental health issues, trauma, a lot of things that aren't being dealt with, and if you just try to put a blanket over the issue, it's not going to get solved. You know, we really need to get to the root of the problem, and I feel like that's trying to help people work through that, find meaning in their life, find value for themselves, or others, or just anything like that. And I think the staff should be more properly trained in mental health, how to deal with conflict, because a lot of times when there is an issue, they just go right for getting aggressive or rude. And I understand that everyone's has the right to feel how they feel, but when you're in a professional setting, you should act that way, you know, because it's their job and that's what they get paid for. So just just a little more training, and a lot more training actually, and yeah, just that, and also just the conditions alone. I know again, working pretty hard, but I feel there should be more stuff like sanitation. There's no cleaning supplies, there's no toilet paper, drinking water, the kitchen, the only way to get drinking water is from a sink that gets locked at midnight, you know. Yeah, showers you can turn on, for instance. Yeah, I would love to clean if there was cleaning supplies to do so, you know? Thank you.
Hi, good morning. My name is Annetta. I live in downtown Oakland, and I have two questions, and I'd like to see what is the city doing in regards to a couple of things. There's been a lot of hit and runs in my neighborhood. It seems like a lot of cars are driving through red lights and they think it's okay. They ignore pedestrians. They're very aggressive if you ask them to stop on your green light. There's recently been a hit and run where a father died because he was riding a bike with his son on 14th and Jefferson. I don't think the person was ever caught. I'm not sure if there are cameras in certain areas, so some of the drivers are using and driving through. And I'm not sure if it's worth mentioning, maybe an idea of putting more cameras, or at least making sure the cameras are functioning so people are aware and they can be cognizant of pedestrians and bikers. Another item I have is Swans Market area. It seems like there's a lot of funds put into making sure that the area is clean, but it's what is the city doing in regards to redistribution of resources. I think other neighborhoods in Oakland could use the funds, and it seems like a lot of funds that are spent on Swans Market are overused and abused. I don't think the city needs to clean the area every single day and leave lower and spend the money on cleaning the sidewalks that are already extremely clean. I think other areas in Oakland could use the funds to make sure there's trash is picked up or the areas that are being cleaned. So I'm curious to hear if there is a way to take that money and use it in other areas that definitely could use it better than the Swan Market area. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Tyra, and I have some concerns with the nonprofit housing about low market rent. How would someone that is low income find such a rent when rent is pretty much, let's say for 2 bedrooms, $2,400, but they already start at $2,800 to over $3,000. But they tell you you have to find a low market unit, but there isn't really one to find. And then they say they offer you support with moving, and they tell you that they're going to help you with security deposits and your first month's rent. And then they tell you they're going to help you with like accessories to move in, far as furnishing your bedroom, living room, and kitchen. But you only have a budget of $5,000. Now, how would that work with moving when all that moving cost is spent up by the time you move into the unit? And that's all I have.
Hi, my name is Monica Deshay, and I live on 37th and West MacArthur, right at the freeway exit. And my concern is that people dump a ton of trash like up and down the street all the time. And every morning I find like random objects like Home Depot cards and broken bicycles, and then even on the weekend people dump construction trash. So there's been nails in the street that when I back out my driveway, I've got nails in my tires. And there's no street sweeping at all. Nobody comes in the streets. 37th and West MacArthur, right at the freeway exit. So I live like a few blocks from the liquor store and around the corner from Pack and Save. So nobody comes and ever street sweeps. And there's also a ton of abandoned cars and people that live in the cars. And they live like on the side of my backyard. So it's kind of uncomfortable having like a house people in their cars and just hanging out all day long. And I understand they have nowhere to go, but it's also an issue of like safety because I'm a dog walker and a babysitter, and that poses a risk for me. Like when I'm trying to walk my dogs or even look after the kids I'm watching, it's like I can't go outside. So that's just my concern. Like there's no safety or cleanliness in my dog.
What's your name?
I'm Monica Deshay. Monica Deshay. Yeah. That's it.
Hello, my name's Cindy. I live next door, which is on Brockhurst, and it is very, very, very loud, as the gentleman said. There are 3 senior buildings here, right, and together, and we all have to deal with all the noise. And I just wish, my biggest thing is the noise of the homeless, the unhoused people who are up and down Brockhurst 24/7, making noise 24/7. I've been woken up I don't know how many times at like 2, 3, 4 in the morning with people playing drums, playing music, and the car radios jammed up to where we can't sleep or anything. It's just not right. We're supposed to have a warrant of habitability, which means peace and quiet, but that's not what we get here. We get all the noise and the cars running up and down Brockhurst. In the past, we've tried to ask for at least speed bumps to try to slow that traffic down. Because, they commit crimes on Brockhurst and San Pablo, and then they just haul down Brockhurst and get on the freeway and they're gone. You never know who did it. But anyway, something needs to be done, and the cops, it would be nice if who was supposed to have made that grant go through to help fund more cops and stuff to help take care of some of this stuff, but I think they should be fired. But anyway, that's just what's bugging me. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
I think that's everybody. Good morning. Everyone else got to say hello except me. I am Carol Fife. I'm the council member for Oakland's District 3, and all of your concerns are valid, every single one. And so what we have to learn how to do is figure out how to balance all of those concerns. And I am not the arbiter of what should happen, but I'm more of a mediator, because I have various different constituencies with various different ideas and agendas and desires. And so I have to work on how do I bring all of those together. And one of the most important things I think it is important to keep in mind is that we have to figure out how to compromise. But there are some things that we should not have to compromise on. And that's just a basic baseline of living, a basic baseline of standards. And one of the things we can do to address those baselines is through infrastructure. Because in a human society, there are going to be a percentage of the population that does not care about anything that you say. Not a rule, not a law, anything. So we have to have a structure to address that, but we also have to have a structure that allows people to live their lives. And post-COVID, that's been really, really difficult. And it's been extremely difficult for the city of Oakland. And we're seeing that with the budget deficit that we have, which has turned everything on its head. So things that we used to do, we don't do anymore. And I want to talk a little bit about those, but I also want to get to each of these questions. And we're 9 minutes ahead of schedule, so I think I can do both. First, Sharon, you talked about the parking. And should I do this individually? Because y'all want me to go through each one? Yes. Okay, because they're very specific. So the parking for the Clay Street garage that used to be free, you're saying we should apply that to the other city garage on Saturdays for AMLO. I will look into that to see if that's possible. I do want you to email my office at district3@oaklandca.gov and give me an idea of how many spaces that you're talking about to make available for Saturdays. But seeing that it is not a precedent that has been done before, there should be an opportunity for us to do that again. I think that makes a lot of sense. That's logical, and I will advocate for that. And you also said that you're the watch captain for your block.
Yes.
What additional support do you need?
Well, I don't know who our lead officer is, and they're not responding to me when I call the police. We have a problem of triple and double parking. 5 days a week, there's a football team of 100 kids, and they're triple and double park. We can't get out of our driveways, and people have to drive on the wrong side of the street. So it is really an issue that's become hazardous, and I'm not getting support. I did speak with someone for the Department of Transportation, Schoenberg, pardon for me. This is Morrison County Park, right on between West and Market on 16th.
So Brianna, if you could help us find out who that beat captain is. It seems like she should be in touch with Felicia in the city administrator's office. And what are the other two women? The other woman, Angela Moore. Do you have a relationship?
I talked with Angela Moore, I'm on the NCPC meetings every month, and she's really been trying to work on this issue, and also Brianna Brown.
Yeah, Brianna's great. Give it up for Brianna Brown. She's on staff at District 3, and she's the first point of contact that most people have with the office.
She has really been trying hard.
Did you do that? Thank you, Brianna, for representing this office so well. So we will get back with you on that and make sure that you have that information. Alicia Kidd, Coco Noor, where are you? We met when you were first starting to open. I do have a couple of questions for you that I can ask one-on-one. I'm concerned. Has because I know it was hard for you to get in there with all of the different roadblocks just to get started with the community benefits agreement that they gave to you. Has that been fulfilled?
Yes, but
Okay.
there's another one next door that I recommended another black-owned business next door to me. So yeah, on my end, they have one more unit that they need to fulfill.
Okay.
So I recommend the business that is in talks.
So Alicia also mentioned, what are we doing with the vacancies in these developments? A lot of the developments that have broken ground and are currently operational in downtown Oakland were never marketed as 100% affordable or affordable at all. They were developed as market rate housing units. So the fact that they are still market rate units is in line with what they got permitted to build. And a lot of those were before I was in council.
I just think, just real short, 30 seconds I'm gonna say, is that we focus so much, and I understand everybody's issue is super important, but what we don't talk about is businesses where we create jobs. Like personally, I hire 8 people full-time.
Well, let me just tell you about what I'm doing about those vacancies.
Okay.
I have had conversations with 5 developers who built some of the newer units, some of the newer buildings in my district. Many of those are concentrated in downtown Oakland and Jacqueline Square. So I've requested from them to work with us to create an incentive program so that we can bring in new residents to their businesses if they offer a below market rent or some kind of discount to their rents in order to attract more people to come and work for the city. The reason I did that was because, number one, we have tremendous vacancies throughout the entire city of Oakland, and that impacts our ability to provide city services. So if they were able to offer rents that city workers could pay, that would do a couple things. It would bring more traffic to the downtown area, because one of the things that we've been able to find that in order to deter crime, people operating and working in groups, going out together in groups, having more activation of space is one of the ways that we can do that. That also supports our small business community. So I got affirmation from several of the developers that they would be willing to do that.
So use me as a test.
Okay.
Use me as an example, because again, I'm born and raised in Oakland, where you have business owners that are second generation. Use me as an example, because that can solve, because where we would hire people from the community, pay livable wages. So just use me as a litmus test, as an example to say, hey, Alicia got in, she's an Oakland resident, she could, I'm hiring 8 people, and it's keeping community.
Do you still have my cell phone number?
I'll get it after.
Okay.
And then the second one is about the safety, I think. Again, this is not to create division. I support all communities. If our Asian brothers and sisters are supporting the safety, we equal. I don't see that on
I
our.
want to address that, because that is something that gets brought to me all of the time about the number of decoy cars or the patrol units that frequent Chinatown, that are stationed in Chinatown on a regular basis, that are not available in parts of West Oakland or other parts of the district. And overtime is voluntary, right? So you have to sign up for where you want to do overtime as an Oakland police officer. Officers are signing up to do overtime in Chinatown and not in other places. In addition, they have investors and other financial interests that are paying for additional services that don't come out of the Oakland General Fund, that pay to serve exclusively Chinatown. We don't have that in other areas. So I want to be really clear about that. And we should also try to brainstorm how to create those things in other parts of the district that they've been able to create in Chinatown, because they have a culture and because they have a strong, tight-knit community. What we've done as a city is invested additional funds in activating space. We had this launch of Activate Oakland with our Visit Oakland, our Visitors Bureau for the city. And we've also invested over $1 million in community ambassadors for our business corridors. So I can talk more about that with you as well. And I can put information on our newsletter to talk about that.
I just get the brunt because I'm more of the newer businesses, and it's not to create division. It's more of like, how can we learn?
You want equity. You want equity. And you want to learn what they've done.
Black business, there is no business in Oakland too. We're part of that community, and a lot of us are feeling left out. It's not on you, but I'm just going to be one of the people that say it. And I refuse to be gentrified out.
And let's partner on how to make sure that does not happen. So another thing that I'm doing, which is in your area, is the Black New Deal. So it's the Enhanced Infrastructure Financing District. I would love for you to be a partner with me in that process to help inform what the economic development piece looks like. We have to be careful with Prop 209 and affirmative action, there are certain things that we cannot say or do because it would be against the law in violation of affirmative action laws that. Yes, we'll figure it out.
Because having businesses, no matter what race or gender impacts, it's a benefit for the community. So like I'm very multicultural and open, but it's just, again, when I see certain demographics being left out or not understanding what's out there, it's the access. So I just wanted to come.
So you're gonna help me, my liaison.
Hold space. I do serve non-alcoholic things too, where it's not all about.
So we'll have some meetings at Cocoa Floor.
So
and
my space is up for offer to have those meetings.
Wonderful.
Facilitating.
Thank you, thank you. And you are in the Black Arts Movement Business District.
Yes.
So there should, we're working on getting ongoing resources for that area as well.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mike. There. First of all, people should not be coming here to dine. That, the way that you frame that is really heartbreaking. And unfortunately, when people are living lives in that way where your whole cycle of engagement is around debt, that's a really difficult cycle to break. It's usually people who don't feel like they have anything to live for. And I think that is one of the roles of government, is to provide for people's basic needs. And oftentimes we have not, I will say, by and large, we haven't done that. There hasn't been a social safety net. So that's one of the things that I'm trying to push inside of City Hall, is the resources to be able to do that. And I will say, in the last 2 years, it's probably the hardest time to be an elected official on a local level in California's history. Oakland we're facing a deficit that's never been seen before on the tail end of a pandemic. I don't know if you all have recently heard the news that says child poverty has doubled in this last year. And people are wondering why young people are outside losing their minds. Well, they were cooped up, not able to go to school for years, when we are social creatures. But also, we forget sometimes that there are a lot of families that are hurting. And people call me out and they say that I'm a bleeding heart liberal and I shouldn't care, and that I should just be tougher on things. But I think in order to adequately address what we're seeing, to diagnose, you're not gonna go to the doctor. You're not gonna go to the doctor with an issue and they don't check on your family history. They don't check on some of the things, that the ways and the lifestyles that you have and how you live your life. So I think it's important to understand why and have a solution, an immediate solution. So regarding the shootings that are happening, we need to, number one, utilize the systems that we have while we're creating new ones. Because if we want people to stop that behavior, we have to create alternatives. But we also need our enforcement arm of the city of Oakland to enforce the laws. And so it's really difficult once people are shooting, if ShotSpotter is not activated, because I know there's been a couple times where ShotSpotter has not been activated. But by the time guns are going off, it's really difficult to interrupt that cycle. We can't have police officers. I don't know if you all heard our interim police chief on KQED yesterday, but you cannot have a police officer on every single corner of every single block in the city of Oakland. And you've been hearing people call for 1,000 officers. Well, we're about at 712, I think, right now. People are not joining the force as much. So understanding the reality that we have what we have, I want to work with community members on how we create additional layers of safety and security with neighbors that include, how do you think we all should be keeping each other safe? How do we incorporate additional ambassadors? What are programs and protocols that we can put in place to look out for each other while we're creating these other platforms? It's a challenging situation. There is no silver bullet answer. That's not a good term. Scratch that. There's no singular answer, but I think there are things that we can do to make it harder to engage in those types of things, like the use of CEPTED, the crime prevention through environmental design, where we should probably have our CEPTED person come out and do an analysis of the neighborhood to see what we can do to increase lighting, to put up speed bumps, to potentially narrow traffic lanes or close off certain streets so it makes it harder to engage in that type of activity, but I did see your hand and I want to respond to it.
So one of the things when we talk to the police is that if they were to arrest someone for a drug charge, the laws are not such that they go to jail for more than 45 minutes. Like they'll even tell us that they'll arrest them and take them to Santa Rita jail, and they're back out on the street before the policeman even finishes the paperwork.
Who's telling you that?
Officer Templeman, who's a community resource officer, Officer Fiorino, who's the community resource
Ask for data. When people are, it's the same for me. If I'm presenting you information, ask for confirmation in writing that those things are happening. Because there are a lot of narratives that are going around that are fallacious. I'm not saying that what you've been told is, but from the time that I actually stepped into office, I've been told some things that are not borne out by the statistics and by the data. So that should not stop a law enforcement officer from enforcing the law. Because that's what I'm hearing often. Like, well, we're not gonna do it because if we do, the people are just gonna be out again, minutes later. That's hyperbole, number one. And the job of a law enforcement officer is to enforce the law. It is up to the judge, the jury, the district attorney to do that other part. So what you should be asking your law enforcement agency, if you're experiencing in your neighborhood laws being broken that are intended to keep the peace and to keep people safe and alive, that's all they should be focused on, not what happens after.
I remember we had a meeting with them several years ago. It was a 1-hour meeting, and after the meeting, I wanted to talk with, I think it was Officer Fiorino at the end, and she was like, okay, really quick. I said my thing, and she was like, okay, well, we have to go. And just so you know, Oakland, we have kind of 3 tiers of crime and incidents.
Yes.
And it's like, tier number 1 is like someone's just been shot or stabbed or something very serious. She's like, we have, I think she said 36 officers driving around Oakland right now who are active. And we have 6 tier 1 incidents. So that was just a data point for me. Just how overburdened they are. And I also heard people say, other people, you brought up like 1,000 police officers.
That's what I hear a lot.
Yeah, I heard other people say that Oakland needs like 1,400, twice the number of recruits.
That's potentially true, and if that is true, it's because number one, we don't have a regional approach for dealing with that type of activity. And sometimes people are coming from other places to Oakland to engage in criminal activity. That's one of the reasons. The other reason is because we've never really created a safety net. And once again, after COVID, when the child tax care credits went away, when people's EBT benefits went away, when all of the PPE distributions went away, poverty increased exponentially. Hunger increased exponentially. And when you have large portions of the population that never experienced a safety net, without any resources, desperation kicks in. That is not an excuse. People should not be taking advantage of each other. But at the same time, we live in a culture that glorifies wealth in excess. And a lot of people want that wealth in excess. And some people want to just eat a meal. I used to be a teacher, and the number of children that would come into school without having eaten was criminal. So I want us to remember my perspective of safety, holistic community safety, is making sure people's needs are met so they don't have to revert to crime in the first place. And if they do, and they need a timeout, and they need to be removed from society, then we are sending them to a place where they're getting rehabilitation and they're being taught about how to engage in a program and a process in society where they can come out and not have to do that again. We have a system that is the exact opposite. And we're trying to double down on a system that was never intended for people to succeed in the first place. Send them away where they get hardened, come out, and you can't get financial aid, you can't get affordable housing supports through HUD, you can't do anything but live on the street and do the same thing that got you in there in the first place. So we have to understand the systems that we're living in, because that's what I'm there to change. And that's what people are upset with me about. The folks who are really, really mad are like, the system is broken and you're part of breaking it. You're hearing that a lot, that wokeness, Democrats, liberals, leftists, socialists, anarchists have broken the system. But none of those folks are in power or have been in a position long enough to break anything, right? What we're dealing with is what we've inherited. And most of the people who are there are trying to turn around a freight liner, an ocean liner that has been moving in this direction and has brought us here. And if it were just about progressives that have broken the system, then it wouldn't exist in Tennessee, in Mississippi, in Florida, in red states, where these same issues are prevalent. It wouldn't exist. And so it also wouldn't exist that you see the most number of strikes in American history happening, right? You wouldn't see some of the other things where we're actually watching our society fall apart. That is not the doing of so-called progressives and woke folks. What woke folks and activists and organizers have been trying to tell our entire society from the time Martin Luther King was talking about it 55 years ago and was assassinated for it, that we have to do right by our workers and make sure that people have a living wage, that people are not treated or barred from society because of the color of their skin. And we are experiencing decades of that stacking on top of each other. And then now blaming the people who are saying, this is gonna be a problem. This is gonna be a problem if we keep doing this. And now it's a crisis. It wouldn't be an issue if progressives had power and leadership. We wouldn't see our environment on fire right now. So I'm saying all of those things because you're going to hear people, especially as we get closer to 2024, not just locally, but nationally. Mike Huckabee said that 2024 will be the election of the ballot or the bullet. Using Malcolm X's terminology to say that 2024 will be an election of the ballot or the bullet if Trump is not, if Mike, thank you. If Trump lost. Thank you. So I'm letting you know about the mentality of the people who are talking about wokeness and why we should check wokeness. It's because there are people who are trying to turn around this ocean liner, and there's a major force against it. And I say all that to say, Mike, I'm so sorry. We still need to do something today. We still need solutions today. I know. And I want to give it up. I want everybody to understand who Mike is in our community, in our neighborhood. Anytime, like, Mike paints over the church that gets tagged every single time it gets tagged. And out of his own pocket, out of his own time. And I'm honored that you are one of our community leaders here, because what you do shows that how much you care. And I just wanted to let everybody know the amazing work that you do. And that's just one of the things.
The message, you guys just please make a vow. I love what you said, but please get this messaging out. What the other side is doing that they're successful at is the messaging. Get on TikTok. Go like these channels that are in Oakland, like Bay Area, all these like Instagram channels that are showing Oakland. Some of them are not from here.
Right.
So what I would say to the progressives, because I'm more moderate, I'm not progressive, but I'm in between, is that the messaging of the Republicans is amazing. So all of this stuff that you guys have, you guys need to get some young Gen Zs in here, filming this and breaking it up and putting it on TikTok and bites, like I say, going forward at the local level. Because they're feeding up, and you got people of color that's feeding into the other side, thinking that we're not doing anything. So my advice is to have more marketing, social media marketing, in bites of 30 seconds to really go at Republicans like they going at us.
And I want to be clear, like, I'm not anything. I know people put labels on what I am. I really am just a servant who cares and wants to see things done differently. I don't identify with any of those labels, but you're right. And that is something that we're looking at, how to better do, because their messaging is simple, it's clear, it's straight to the point, it's often a lie, but it's effective.
Like now, I just shared this, I have 7,000 people that follow me. So I'm gonna break it up on my Facebook and stuff like that, because people are not, they're misinformed, and they're gonna believe what they see. If Trump say something, they're gonna believe it. You know what I'm saying? If you say something, or one of your team puts it out to say, we talk about these issues, and keep it pushing.
I wanna give you, thank you, we're gonna do that, we're gonna do exactly that. Say what he said so I can make sure that I don't misquote it about Huckabee.
Huckabee said that 2024 will be if Trump loses, 2024 will be the last election of the ballot. And after that, it will be the elections of the bullet.
Right. He completely remixed Malcolm X.
This generation, if you have an IG clip that said that and then show what original Malcolm X said, then the younger generation are people that are not informed will say, okay, and won't believe the opposite.
Okay.
So that's why some, there's some schools in here that volunteer and they can be filming this on TikTok.
Okay, we are. But yeah, and we'll do that. So, I'm sorry, but thank you, Mike. And we gotta stay in conversation about how to help with those potential septet analysis and things that we can do in that neighborhood, in that structure, in different parts of the city, so people are not coming here to die. We have to provide the reasons for people to live. So thank you for sharing that. Yes, Keith.
Real quick, I was gonna say, could you explain to us what exactly does that mean?
Yes. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So Keith asked, what does that mean about the elections moving forward being by the bullet if Trump is not on the ballot? So right now we're seeing all of these attempts to hold Trump accountable for January 6th, for the insurrection, and a host of other things that Donald Trump has been responsible for. And so that will potentially impact whether he can run for president again. And so Mike Huckabee is saying that if he is not able to run, that there will be basically a revolution in this country, and it will be a revolution by the gun. And so that's part of why it's difficult to get any type of firearm regulations in this country. You see, I don't know how many school shootings we're in and how many neighborhood shootings there have been, but not regulating guns means making sure that there are patriots who will follow Trump like they did on January 6th into engaging in revolutionary activity on the streets to take back the country. And so those ideas, those beliefs don't really have fertile ground in Oakland, but you're starting to see them trickle in through certain messaging, through certain people. And they're using public safety as a way to get people engaged around getting more guns, which people who are supportive of gun control and the police departments do not want. They don't want people with more weapons on the street, because the more weapons on the street, the harder it is to regulate, because most times people are just gonna go buy a gun and not get any training. So if you get into an interaction and you're not used to using a firearm on a regular basis, most likely is you're gonna get your gun taken from you in a gunfight, and the tables are gonna be turned and you're not gonna be able to defend yourself anyway. And then officers are going to just assume everybody's armed. So for a routine traffic stop or any kind of engagement, they're going to assume that everyone is armed and dangerous. And that is a very, very bad situation for our citizenry and for the residents of any city. Because then you're setting up a situation where there's already this us against them, and you have a militarized police force who thinks everyone is armed and dangerous. People are going to, you think it's bad now. So there's a lot of challenges and problems with that argument. I hope that clarifies. I'm gonna try to get through everybody's statements and then talk about what I'm doing. And conditions of the space. I think Anna Maria Bustamante spoke about the conditions at the Wood Street tiny cabin community. I think what we need to do, and I'm willing to mediate this, is have a conversation with the residents and the operators of Boss. Because I, for the first time 2 weeks ago, was able to talk to staff from Boss. I've been reaching out to the executive director for a long, long time now, but was able to talk to staff at a community meeting. And there's some differences in opinions. And I found that sometimes when there's differences of opinions and people saying different things, getting everybody at the same table to have those conversations and work things out is a good way to go. So I'm offering that as an opportunity to come to City Hall and have those conversations with representatives from both sides to talk about the conditions and the services that are being offered there. They are in contract with the city of Oakland, so that should not be a problem. Is that okay? Okay. John, I think that's covering the same concerns. And you're also asking people to stop calling the cleanings of encampment sweeps or the removal of encampment sweeps.
Sweeps, and that just sets up a mind frame of other people thinking, looking at unhoused people as a trash. You sweep trash, you don't sweep people. Yeah. You move them, place them somewhere else, but you don't sweep them. So that sets up a mind frame for other people to look at us in a different light and not that we're human beings. And trying to put a more human look on what's happening out there with the unhoused people. Because there's a narrative that, that we're just lazy bums that just don't do anything, want handouts and stuff, and that we are just trash. And that's not the narrative we want to be out there. So if we have a little bit of support from government and stuff, and a lot of things happen, like they have this narrative about, well, I hear a lot that.
Can people hear in the back? Okay, you want to come up? They can't hear me.
Oh, it's just a narrative out there that I'm saying that unhoused people are lazy and don't want to work and are bums and just want handouts and stuff. And that's not true at all. And we're trying to change that narrative to show that unhoused people, especially on Wood Street at this moment, are doing everything in their power to show differently, to show improve, to create programs and things that would help the unhoused people. And it's about instilling people with a little pride and self-worth in them and stuff. And when you get that, you have a better society. People are more apt to go outside of their community, be involved in things and stuff. And so it's about trying to, show people that, give them some power, give them some self-worth and stuff.
Some of us looking in think of that opportunity for you. We know it's a situation where people losing their housing that ended up where you are now or where people are now. But some of us in the community say, you there, we see trash. We wonder if, the city can give you guys jobs to prevent the people from dropping the trash there so it won't have to be cleaned up. So that's what we look at too, because we notice that people come into our city and dump trash because they see that y'all are there or people are there. And so we were trying to figure out what kind of solution can we have, like having the city pay you guys, give you guys a phone so you can be able to take pictures of the people who dump in the trash in your sites so we can prevent it and start tackling all these people from coming out of our community and bringing that trash here. Because some of us know nobody wants to live in trash. Nobody wants to live around, you folks are out there. Nobody wants rats, roaches, disease, stuff comes from trash. So nobody wants to see that. So there has to be some type of solution where the city has like a pilot program in order for the folks that's out there to be able to supervise the area that there is. It should be like a supervisor and a manager at the site where you at, so they can have this be a solution for nobody to dump trash there, so the city can't come and sweep y'all stuff away with the trash. That's right.
So do we have a commitment then to work together? Because I have talked to different nonprofit organizations and other folks who are unhoused to say we would be a part of a solution to work together to keep areas clean.
I think that would be a really good idea if we had the resources to do so, like garbage cans, trash bags, cleaning supplies. A lot of times, my friends here, they do make the initiative to try to like, see the people who do it try to clean up, but there's no like help. You can't take trash somewhere if there's nowhere for it to go, or like you can't take it away. It's a lot. It's like very.
An idea.
Okay, yeah. Like yeah, I don't know if I can speak to them, but like I think everyone's like willing to help if there's like a way to do it. You know.
You're fine. I just want to add on to that. You know, there's a lot of talk about us getting into the solution and working together. I don't want it to be mistaken. We've been extending a hand, an olive branch. We've been reaching out to work with the city for a while now. And the only reason that there was so much trash built up on Wood Street, and this has to be said, is because I'd say a good 70% of it was illegal dumping. We had nobody from the city, no sanitation coming to get it, or it was not routine at the very best. This is not something that we enjoy doing. We don't enjoy living in trash. Like, it needs to be addressed.
So we could set up a system where the folks in the tiny village have phones and are able to capture illegal dumpers and provide that information to the Department of Public Works, because number one, there are rewards for people who capture illegal dumpers if it leads to our teams being able to identify them and find them. So that's for everybody. Anyone in the city of Oakland who is capturing illegal dumpers and gives that information to the city, we can utilize that, and there is a reward for that. I got to find out the details of that.
I got $300 for time.
Mike got $300 for doing that. And I also see that hand. It can go up to 2,000. That is like 10% of somebody's rent. Yes, sure.
My name is Sir. I'm the founder of Community Ready Corps. Right? We have been going through the community, actually cleaning up. Right? We bought a garbage truck. And so we've been working. We want to work with folks to actually organize, because our whole thing is the good neighborhood. Right? So, contrary to popular belief, some people have been saying we're doing sweeps. That's not what we're doing. What we want to do is help organize. That's the city's thing. However they decide to manage that, but we want to help organize communities. So I would love to have a conversation about how we go from community to community and clean it up, right? Because I'm clear that most of that is illegal dumping, right? And so I know that you all have been organizing and have been operating and trying to implement these good neighbor policies. I was there when you all were trying to get the city to bring dumpsters, right? Trying to get them to bring dumpsters and get a pickup schedule, right? But there are certain folks who are invested in the counter narrative. So there are people who sabotage those efforts because they want the other narrative to be in play, right? So what we do is you all have a commitment from me. I'll provide resources, I'll provide help, I've got the truck, I can take it to the dump. We've been doing it. So we can talk afterwards. We can have a conversation and let's make it happen.
Solutions solve problems. Okay, let me get to the next question. Gotta get this on time. Gotta stay on time. Tracy, did you connect with the county on the Section 8 program where okay, the person that you need to talk to is Hank Levy. He's a tax collector. And there is a program in the county of Alameda where the vacant properties that a lot of folks heard about it during Moms for Housing, that there are 4 vacant homes for every 1 homeless person in the city of Oakland, which makes homelessness unconscionable, right? If there are empty units, there should not be people living on the street. People will tell you Carol wants people to die on the streets, especially Black people. That is the most ridiculous claim you can ever hear. You will hear all kinds of narratives about me. That is one of the most ridiculous claims anyone can ever say. They said that the only reason I'm in office is because I stole a house for homeless people to live in. So it doesn't make sense for me to want people to die on the streets, but also steal houses for homeless people to live in. Those two things cannot exist in the same space. That said, several of these vacant units are tax defaulted. And so that means that the owners have not paid taxes in a number of years. What we found is that people who have defaulted and have less than 10 years on their schedule are likely to repay those fines or whatever, and they can recover the property. If it's been defaulted for 10 years or more, those properties rarely get made right. So they're just sitting vacant. There's a place on 28th and MLK that fits into that. We're working on that. I've spoken to, you want so many people want, there's a lot of work. Tracy wants that property. So let me explain what I've done around that program. They tried to do it like 20 years ago when we had, when Nate Miley was a city council member. Nate Miley is currently the president of the Alameda County Board of Supervisors. So when I first got into office, because I was trying to utilize this program for moms, the Moms for Housing, because if that program would have worked, there never would have been a house takeover. That never would have happened if the program would have been operational. So when I came into office, I tried to utilize my platform to say, hey, let's make this actually work to get people off the streets and into housing. And you as the county, as our behavioral health and our department that is supposed to deal with any kind of public health crisis, can support with support housing or whatever. We can figure out how to make that happen. And so it's taken 2 years to get where we are right now, which is I worked with Keith Carson. He helped push the treasurer to get all of those properties in one database. And now we're working to try to get a program staffer hired, which I just got confirmation from Hank Levy that he did. So now I'm pushing for the city of Oakland, the county of Alameda, and the school board and other municipal agencies to all put their properties in this database. So we're aware of all of the vacant properties. And with this upcoming bond measure, if it passes in 2024, it will give us at least $10 million per year to get those properties and rehabilitate them and turn them into housing programs for the different types of housing that's needed in Oakland, which is permanent supportive housing with substance abuse and wraparound services for unsheltered people, as well as first-time homebuyer programs for our workforce population that is also not able to live here and afford here, and different tiers of housing that's necessary with just the vacant properties that exist. And that does not account for all of the other preservation, protection, and production pipeline projects are in the pipeline right now to be built. So it is like pulling teeth, and it has taken a long time to get where we are right now, but that program is also available to any city in the county of Alameda and any nonprofit that wants to have access to those properties. You can do that now. And there is currently funding for remediation for those plots of land that are toxic to help to remediate that land. So contact Hank Levy, tell him Councilmember 5 said that you need information on the Chapter 8 program. And there's also notice of funding availabilities to projects that are seeking development dollars for things like that as well through the city of Oakland. Okay, does that answer your question, Tracy? Probably. Betty, Linden Street, 311. Where's Betty? Did Betty leave? Oh, Betty. Yes. So you just want more engagement and more the city of Emeryville and the city of Oakland to work better together?
It's very difficult to explain because these streets cut off so much. And from 37th and Linden and 36, half of the property is on Emeryville.
Mm-hmm.
Comes up to zip code 946.
I lived over there. That was, yeah, same. Yes, ma'am.
And Emeryville has been doing on Downtown Law and 37th and all these different, even on 14th. They take half of Oakland's property line. You go, the way you follow it is by the street sign. The street signs will change. Oakland is green, Emeryville is blue. Doug's Barbecue used to be Oakland. Now it's Emeryville. See the big sign. That's why even where I live on 37th and Linden, 37th is a very short street. That's a long street because it goes all the way into Market Street, but Linden turns left going on 37th. Where they built this unit, this housing right on South Avenue and 37th and 36th, they built a low-income house. My house is in back of that place. After that building was Emeryville, and after that was Oakland. Emeryville took it all. Oakland got 25% for low income, veterans got some, and affordable housing. That's how it works when they build these multiple buildings around here. They can't go up no more than 6 stories.
Right.
I would think somebody from the office, our district person now, we used to be in District 1.
Yes, it was
And they
ridiculous.
divided all this new stuff up together. I would think, we have homeowners on that block. I know it's a lot of poverty and all this stuff, but we do have homeowners in Oakland. And I think your office is in your district, I would feel better since being a homeowner and a lot of people in my area, it's only like no more than 6 houses on this one little block. Everybody always trying to come by this whole little block. It's a homeowner that was on the home, passed away, new people came into the block. Not people not color, but it's the whole little block. Now I've been living there over almost 30 years. I would feel a little good if your office would reach out to our little area sometime.
Yes, ma'am.
We hosted a neighbor night out. I reached out to your office when I found out about this new district change. Because I reached out to Dan before a long time. We do have a lot of homeless problems. The area is not clean. My daughter lives across the street. She's a homeowner. And MacArthur all the way up from Santana to Market is never swept.
So you just want to be in better relationship with our office so you can get the services that you deserve.
I would.
Brianna, do you have her contact information?
Yeah.
Okay. So, and let's set up a time where I can come and meet the neighbors on their block.
I would love that.
And we should do that within the next few weeks if possible.
Well, maybe sometime I'll reach back out in November. I'll be out of the country.
Okay.
I'll be out of the country after September 26th until November.
Okay. So we have a date for November.
Yes.
Sounds good.
I'll let them know. And it's a real demographic. I did reach out to your office. I think I did talk to her before.
Okay.
And she knows about our situation and like doctors and lawyers. So 6 people on the block.
And you want us to wait till you come back?
Well, I've been emailing the bunch of doctors and I thought she was gonna come to my next door neighbors today. I thought they was gonna come too, but they didn't come.
I'll go over there when we end this. I'll just knock on everybody's door and just come say hi.
You'll see why everybody's trying to come in. They wanna buy this whole block.
Mm.
So 4 houses on each block. When they built the complex in the front, they came to our house to wanna buy my house. I've been there over 30 years. The lady next door wants to.
Don't sell your house.
I'm not selling my house. I'm gonna be honest, they could buy my house, but they have to give me $2 million to move, and they don't like my price.
Okay. Leave it high. Don't sell your house. Thank you.
There's I don't know if you're familiar, there's a Black realtors group here in Oakland that's very, I think we should connect with them, even for the nonprofit. So it's called NARAB. They're all Black real estate agents.
It's the National Association of Real Estate.
But they're strong and they work not only like for investors, but I think it's good to connect with them. So if from a nonprofit, NARAB, and it's Black realtors, but especially for people of color that want to deal with agents and things of that nature, I think that should be I can do a connection to where for nonprofit type of deals and just to representation, because representation is very important in that sense, just to even talk about things from a realtor perspective so you're informed, so I'll just make sure your office gets it.
Oh, I know them. I have a relation. I know them. And it is true, the way that housing has been dealt with in the city, in this country, has left certain people out of the conversation. And it's been a very extractive endeavor. People's homes were taken in West Oakland. Black people's homes were taken and demolished in West Oakland, and they were given less than they were worth. And it's impacted property values, it's impacted our public schools, and a host of other things that have had impacts to this day. So don't sell your house unless I give you, what'd you say, 20 million? 2 million? Move just to move. Yes, don't move. Yes, Betty, one last comment.
Like you said, the demographic of our neighborhood used to be all African American. And the demographic of 37 and Linden and 36, that changed. Absolutely not changed. We have people from all walks of life, all demographics in our neighborhood.
But is it still a community? Is it still respectful and a?
Well, all the old people that used to live on the block passed away, and we have to grow again and learn again. And we're learning again.
We have guests. Look who just arrived. It's the mayor of Oakland. Okay, well, let's get through these questions, y'all, because I'm committed to answering. Oh, hey, my professor's here. Oh my, listen, everybody is here. The gang is all here. Let me, go through this. Is Amara still here? Yes, yes, Ms. Bennett.
Thursday and Friday, and maybe a meter lady would come, or then if the car's not moved, they need to get a ticket.
Okay, so street sweeping is not happening on your block
They keep coming, but you can't sweep the street.
because the cars don't move. Okay, we'll work on that with the Department of Transportation. I will let Michael Ford know, and we're gonna get your streets clean. That's the very basic, city service that you should have. So we'll get that done.
You need to change the time from sign from MacArthur, from St. Helena, all the way to back.
I'm gonna make you a liaison to our office.
The sign said 3 a.m. in the morning. The sweep used to come at 3 a.m. in the morning.
Okay, I'm gonna come over there after this, I'm serious. So I can take pictures of the signs and I can get a better understanding of what you're talking about. Okay, thank you. Is it Amara downtown? Can you say your name again? Aneta. You were saying that there are issues with reckless driving downtown? And I'm gonna.
Notoriously, people drive to red lights and are very aggressive towards pedestrians and people on bicycles. When you make a comment to a driver, they are very aggressive towards you, even though you're crossing on a green light and on a pedestrian sign. And this happens all the way from 16th to 5th in Washington regularly.
Thank you for sharing that. I'm going to say to everyone in the room, please do not approach people or try to talk to folks, especially if you see them acting erratically in the first place. If you see someone running a red light or engaged in activity that is threatening to the public safety of yourself or people around you, please don't engage. You never know the mental state of an individual who is acting in that manner, and you don't want to put yourself in a position where you become a target. That said, there are things that we can do environmentally through design and through how streets are constructed, and we're in conversation with the Department of Transportation around hotspots in downtown Oakland and throughout the district that can help us make sure that we're making it more difficult to engage in that type of behavior. Because sometimes it's easier to manage the street than it is to manage behavior. So I will get back with you on the areas in downtown where we're looking at working with the Department of Transportation to amend some of the construction, some of the ways that our streets are formatted. 14th Street is one of those areas that is going under a facelift right now when we're making some of those changes. But I will look at the particular intersection that you're talking about to see if there's anything happening in that area as well. But please be safe. Keep yourself as safe as possible. I do want to give an opportunity for the mayor to speak, that she's come to our town hall and these beautiful green shirts. And can the youth come up here too? Come up here. We folks were just talking about how we need more young people. Come up here. So what do we owe the Oakland?
Thank you so much.
Sorry, Councilmember 5, we are just dropping in. I wanted to come by just to see if there's any questions that I can answer and help answer. We are actually out in your neighborhood, Councilmember 5. We are walking and talking to people, knocking on doors, and these are our youth data fellows. The City of Oakland, under my leadership, we have a program called Talking Transition, and this is about bringing City Hall to the people. Knocking on the doors of people who wouldn't otherwise actually participate at Oakland City Hall. And so these are all the young people that we are paying to, we are paying all these beautiful young people to actually collect data for us. And at the same time, we're teaching them skills of how to collect data and then what to do with that data. For me, they haven't heard this part, but for me, it's a way for me to get them engaged, right? And make sure that we are preparing our bench for future leaders of Oakland. And if we can make success stories and engage, civically engage our young people, I think that that's a huge success when we talk about our future. And so let's give a warm round of applause to all of our young fellows. All at the same time, it's really fun for me to, when I first saw our young people, they had all their walls up, they were like too cool for school, they want to talk, and all of that fun stuff. And now, look at Zay, he's all smiling now. He was so too cool for school previously. But I feel so safe with our young people. We're walking down the street, and this is what Oakland is about. And we got to get back to just this basic humanity piece of it, where we watch out for each other. And so I say thank you to my young folks for keeping me safe when I'm walking the streets with y'all. But I did also wanted to uplift the leadership here in your area district. I mean, I can tell you that I've worked at City Hall as a city staffer, and then I became a council member, and now I'm your mayor. And I can tell you that this is the most functional city council and mayor partnership that I have ever seen, and that many of you have ever seen in decades. Yes, I'm not saying that we don't have real issues out there. We have real issues that impede our quality of life every single day. But what I can tell you is that your council member is working hard day in and day out, really challenging my team, and not just that, but city staff to do better. And that's the kind of leadership we need. And we are all on board in regards to you all really giving the message to your council member. And then I promise you that under my administration, we'll do whatever it is that we can to really uplift the quality of life in your neighborhoods and to make it safe. Community safety is key, and that includes programming. We just announced Activate Oakland, which is $10,000 to any organization or community organization who's willing to activate Oakland. Or business, thank you. You're absolutely right, or business. So what does that mean? That means we want to get back to this humanity piece that I'm talking about. And if our streets are activated, it feels safe, right? If it feels safe, we're going to get people coming in from other cities to spend their tax dollars here, and we get to collect those tax dollars so we can put it right back and give you the services. Basic street sweeping services that I heard earlier, and so we really got to think creatively about that, all at the same time infusing our small businesses with the funding and the resources. And so if there are other direct questions, I can answer some of that, but just know that I know. Okay, I'll take 2 questions and I'm going to give it back to the council member. Yes. Yes.
I am a native Oaklander. I've been part of Project Yes. My question to you, and it's amazing seeing all these young, beautiful Black kids and teens, just so that you can be an entrepreneur too. So my question is, what are you going to do to partner our Black youth with Black-owned businesses so they can see that you can be an entrepreneur and not only work a 9-to-5? Because we need to see entrepreneurship with our youth to know that they can make money at 16 and 15. If they want YouTube content creators, bring YouTube in to help them. So what are the partnerships with tech companies as well as Black-owned businesses like the Oakland Black Chamber and other Black cultural zones so that they can do internships? I'm done.
Yes, yes, I'm gonna get back to that as well too. You're absolutely right. And so right now I'm a co-chair of an initiative called, we call it 40 by 40. What it is philanthropy money. It's $100 million. There is a private organization that's giving the city $50 million only if I can go raise the other $50 million. And so that's the work that we're doing right now. We're already pretty close to halfway point for that 50 million. That $100 million goes straight directly into the 40 by 40 in deep East Oakland. We know that this is a deposit for many other issues that we've had historically, whether it's redlining, discrimination, or what have you. But what this will do is we will really uplift organization, especially Black businesses, so that we can become a hub for entrepreneurs, for Black entrepreneurs. We can actually allow for there to be resources to different avenues of what community safety feels like, what support feels like. And so $100 million, every single dollar, goes back into the community, and it's led through community, and Black Cultural Zone is a part of that conversation as well too. And so this is just.
We also need West Oakland, we need Mosaic. We need West Oakland businesses. We have a coalition of Black businesses and people of color businesses right here in West Oakland that also need part of 50 million.
Okay, and I hear you, for sure. And so that is, so the $100 million is for that 40 by 40, but there are new initiatives that we are starting up because, again, it's all of the city of Oakland, especially in the flat areas, right? And so with that being said, that's only for that specific area, but then we must uplift in the West Oakland area. We know that y'all are the most polluted, right? And so there's many of the of different ideas that are coming on board, especially from the federal and state side as well too, to really come together and work to invest more dollars into West Oakland as well too. And so stay tuned for that announcement as we make those announcements coming up. We'll be in great partnership with Councilmember 5 as well. I think, yes.
Hi, my name is Carol Wyatt, and I live not far from here, and I chair the NCDC for this area. And I have to ask the question about the grant. I don't want to be confrontational about it, but I want to give you an opportunity to give us some insight about what is happening.
Absolutely.
One of the biggest challenges the community has is we know what Councilmember Fife's trying to do. We know what everybody's trying to do. When we get media that tells us that we had this opportunity, and then the media describes it as, look at all the other communities around you, including San Francisco, that may have lower crime stats, but we blew it because somebody failed to do something. So what my question is, Mayor, is how do we put a stop to that? Because that's incompetence that you guys get blamed for, even if it's somebody else's job, to just make sure, even if they say, the grant application's due tomorrow, can we get it done and get it out? That's all they need to get out.
Yes, no, you are absolutely right, and you are, I am even more frustrated than you are. When I found out about this just 2 weeks ago, I was saying a lot of things that I should not say in this space, but just so that you know, the way that we're going to be able to move forward is that is actually now a personnel issue in HR, so you can make what you will with that, but it is absolutely unacceptable that we are missing these grant deadlines. It is unacceptable that I know that half of the application was completed, and then there was all these reasons as to why the send button wasn't pressed. So the frustration is real. I'm equally frustrated, but I have designated your city minister, Justin Johnson, to put in parameters in place, and I said I want a full reporting on those parameters so this will never happen again. And again, in regards to that specific issue, it's an HR. It's moved up to the HR level now. Ms. Sharon. Okay. Sorry, I said 2 questions. This will be the last one, I promise. And they'll like.
My name is Jessica. I go by Freeway, and I represent the Wood Street community as well as the Cabins community. I'm hearing you talking a lot about humanity. I'm hearing you talking a lot about getting back to humanity and the support that people need and helping people meeting where they're at. What I'd like to know is, when is that going to start reflecting in the attitude towards the house community, specifically the ones in the cabins on the Wood Street? Because right now the cabins that is being operated in contract with the city, all of those things that you mentioned are being overlooked. And there's a lot of people that are very vulnerable that need the city to be there for them. And that humanity that you're talking about, that support you're talking about, is obsolete. It is nowhere in sight. We don't have clothing, we don't have water. There are people that are being targeted, there are females that are being vulnerably singled out by male staff members and sexually harassed by male staff members. And these things need to stop. The city needs to know where their dollars are going, and the boss is not doing their job.
Well, I appreciate that. You know, I agree. I agree that there needs to be accountability about who we partner with and where that money is going and how they're actually servicing the community that we are expecting them to service. And so with that being said, I know that contract was contracted before my time, but there will be accountability, and we are shifting to the model of looking at the data to really see, are you really doing the work before we hand out these grant funding? I know that Councilmember 5 is feels equally strong in that regard as well too. More so than that, the difference that I can tell you is that the city is now working better with the county. We know that it's the county's job to deliver, mental health services, human services, and all of this other stuff, right? And so this is a new relationship where we are meeting with the county. I'm meeting with the county once a month, not just with the president, Nate Miley, Supervisor Nate Miley, but also with the county administrator, Susan Marnishi, as well too. And so although we don't feel relief right now, I mean, come on, this didn't happen overnight. It snowballed, and this is the huge crap of whatever you could call, whatever, pick a name, that's landed on our plate. And we are doing what we can right now to really fix these imbalances. And not just that, but taking the data to ensure that we are actually serving the people. So all of that to say is that we're headed towards better times. And it's gonna take all of us, right? I wanna come in and clean your community and make sure you have a better quality of life. But I'm going to ask you to say, hey, can you step up with a group of people to be our eyes and ears so that if there is a burnt out vehicle, let us know immediately. Can you go around and, yes, pick up the litter on the street on a daily basis because we don't have enough resources. It's going to take all of us. And I believe that we are going to enter that space. As you can see, we have to be better examples for our young people. And so this is where it starts. And I think that we have some amazing young people, and they're going to be able to stay the city of Oakland and when they leave, for sure. Okay, thank you. Thank you all so much. I don't want to hijack your meeting, and so can we give a round of applause to your council member? Can I just say one thing? I mean, I've worked with a lot of council members before, and this woman right here, she fights for you day in and day out. And yes, she gives me ultimatums, okay? I'm just saying. And I'll say, all right, fine, what do you need to get done? So she's really effective. She's really effective, and you all have great representation. I work with her closely because, I do believe in the power of her representation in the district and what she really wants to see in that stronger quality of life for all of you. Thank you all so much.
Regional bond. Yes. But we need to make sure that Oakland gets its fair share of the I don't even like it. We need to make sure that Oakland gets its fair share of that regional bond and that Oakland is equipped and ready in the housing and homelessness department. It's equipped and ready in the housing and homelessness department. Now, we tell you all the time that housing solves homelessness, and I know you know that.
That's right.
I know you know that. But housing and homelessness are different issues in city government, and they need to be approached differently in the administration. So I want to take this opportunity to applaud your leadership in the region, but also to make sure that we have a functional housing department and a functional homeless services department in Oakland to do the work that you're trying to do every day. St. Mary's will support you in that, but we also need to see that those are different functions. Thank you for everything you've done.
Absolutely. And, another thing to add on to that, it is two very different animals in a governmental view. They cross a lot in regards to, how we actually solve housing affordability in our house population. But with that being said, I do have a working committee who will be, because I have a million other things that I'm doing as well, to keep a close eye on BAFA, the regional housing bond, as we move forward and ensuring that we will get a guaranteed amount of funding through VAPA, but then we deserve more than that. And so that's the part that we're really, I'm having my committee, who is a volunteer committee, to really like follow and see what the politics look like, and then I'll go in and I'll be able to advocate and get votes. And so we are doing that work. Thank you.
Thank you, St. Mary's. Thank you, St. Mary's. Thank you for saying that, Brenda. So we're actually at time. We are at time, and I feel like we're just starting. So there are 5 comments that I didn't get to. So I didn't get to talk about Swans Market. Tyra, stay after so I can talk to Tyra, Monica, Deshae, and Cindy. If you're still here, I did not get to answer your questions directly, but if you hang out by the door, I will spend a little bit of time with you so I can answer those. And we just got to do more of these. I'm going to start doing more of these in community. So if there are organizations or individuals who want to host us at their church or their community organization, please do. The mayor just talked about VAPA. The housing bond is coming up in 2024, in which, if it passes, it will be a regional bond measure to bring affordable housing to the entire 9-county Bay Area. So it won't be just an Oakland problem. Oakland is the county seat and the largest city in Alameda County and home to the majority of our unsheltered population. But this bond would help us address that in Hayward and Berkeley and in all 121 cities. So it's important to pay attention to. I sit on a committee that helps to oversee this process, and we'll be bringing forward the ballot measure in 2024. But that said, there's so much more to talk about, and we're going to just have to do that again the next time we come together. In the meantime, I want to say thank you to Sharon Cornu, the Executive Director for St. Mary's Center, for making the space available today. I want to thank my staff, who I could not get through a day without them. Brianna, I love you so much. Thank you. Thank you, Josie, over here on live streaming everything. Thank you to Tanya, who is literally the boss of our office and keeps me in the game every day. But also thank you to all of you who've come out today to be a part of this conversation and a part of solutions, because we can complain all day. But if we're not in conversation, we're doing the work, y'all letting me know how we can be in better partnership and how I can be in better service, then we're not gonna get anything done, right? We're in some tough times right now. And the only way we're gonna get through them is if we do it together. Can I get a commitment for the people who left that we are going to do it together? Okay. Thank you all for coming out today. Oh, no.
Next time, I'll come next time.
Okay.
I'm here to learn.
Okay, well, this is Monique, and she's gonna talk to us for the next time. We're gonna do another one.
I can do 30 seconds.
30 seconds, just tell everybody who's left in the room what you do.
Hi, everyone. Monique Brown, Executive Director of Mandela Partners. We incubate food businesses. We run a culinary training program. We have a produce distribution facility. I just talked with Ms. Annette. We're going to set up a community produce stand in your area. So we're hoping to connect with you all to bring healthy foods to community, but also to support entrepreneurs. Ms. Alicia, we're supporting food businesses and we give grants and we help them start their businesses. So we're trying to do everything we can within the food space. So I'll come back next time with information and if I'm invited back, but we're definitely, we 100% support Councilperson Fife. We're out here for you. We appreciate all that you do, and I want to be in this space with you to let folks know that you're building access to resources. You're the solution to the problems that we're talking about, so thank you.
All right, everybody, thank you. Have a beautiful rest of your weekend. If you want to catch me, I'm headed out right now.